Was Dhirubhai Ambani the most dangerous businessman in India? This question has sparked debates for decades, and today we'll explore whether this statement holds any weight or if it's just another exaggerated narrative. Dhirubhai Ambani, the founder of Reliance Industries, is a name synonymous with India's business revolution. He built an empire from scratch, becoming one of the wealthiest men in the country. But what really defined his rise? Was it his visionary ideas, or was he willing to do whatever it took, even if it meant using ruthless tactics? Dhirubhai Ambani's journey wasn't just a story of triumph. It was also filled with intense rivalries that shaped the landscape of Indian business. He faced off against some of the most powerful corporate figures of his time. Nusli Wadia, the head of Bombay Dyeing, who once accused Ambani of plotting his assassination. The engineering giant, Larsen and Toubro, where Ambani attempted a controversial takeover to gain control. And Shashi Ruia, who led the Essar Group, with both parties accusing each other of corporate espionage. These conflicts weren't just about business. They were personal, cutting, and in some cases, deeply controversial. Today, we'll delve deep into these rivalries and see if Ambani's methods were visionary or dangerously manipulative. Dhirubhai Ambani's story began far from the glossy boardrooms of Mumbai. He was born in a small village in Gujarat in 1932 into a humble family. His father was a school teacher, and Ambani started his career at the age of 16 as petrol pump clerk and a small-time spice trader in Yemen. However, his ambition always set him apart. He had dreams of something much bigger, and in the early 1960s, he returned to India to start his own business. In 1966, Ambani founded Reliance Commercial Corporation, which later became Reliance Industries. The company began with textiles, and it wasn't long before Dhirubhai's knack for business strategy started to show. He wasn't just building a business, he was creating an empire. What set Ambani apart was his innovative approach to financing. He was one of the first to tap into the capital markets, famously issuing Reliance's initial public offering in 1977, which allowed middle-class Indians, not just elite investors, to become shareholders. Before this, companies generally targeted only wealthy individuals or institutions for raising funds. But Ambani democratized investment, making Reliance a household name and fueling its rapid expansion. This approach helped Reliance rapidly expand its operations, establishing a massive foothold in the textile industry. Reliance's growth trajectory was nothing short of remarkable. In just a few years, Ambani had transformed a small textile business into one of India's largest conglomerates. But success at this scale didn't come without challenges. Ambani wasn't just competing in the market. He was up against some of the most powerful and established figures in Indian business, and these rivalries would shape his journey as much as his achievements. One of Ambani's most intense rivalries was with Nusli Wadia, the chairman of Bombay Dyeing. This rivalry began in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and it revolved around one key industry: polyester. Wadia's Bombay Dyeing was one of the largest textile companies in India, but Ambani's Reliance was quickly gaining ground in the same space, especially with its rise in the polyester market. The conflict intensified when Wadia accused Ambani of using political connections to manipulate government policies in favor of Reliance, particularly when it came to duties on chemicals used in polyester production. According to Wadia, Ambani's influence ensured that his competitors were at a disadvantage. This accusation led to a public war, with both sides using the media as a battleground. Ramnath Goenka, the editor of the Indian Express, initially tried to mediate between the two, but ended up siding with Wadia. Goenka launched a media campaign that painted Ambani as corrupt and manipulative. The campaign attacked Ambani's business practices and questioned the legitimacy of his rise. This media war not only intensified the rivalry, but also put Ambani under immense public scrutiny. The conflict between Dhirubhai Ambani and Nusli Wadia took a sinister turn in 1989 when reports surfaced about a shocking plot to murder Wadia. According to allegations, the plan was orchestrated by associates linked to Ambani, and a hired hitman, Kirti Ambani and Babaria, was reportedly involved. The alleged motive behind this extreme measure was rooted in the intense rivalry between Reliance and Bombay Dyeing, particularly in the polyester market. Wadia's opposition to Ambani's rapid rise, coupled with public accusations of manipulative practices, made him a formidable adversary. The plot came to light when police arrested Kirti Ambani and Babaria on unrelated charges and discovered evidence of the assassination plan. It was alleged that they had been tasked with eliminating Wadia, and certain communications and circumstantial evidence pointed to individuals with ties to Reliance. The revelation sent shockwaves through the business community, highlighting just how deeply personal and hostile this rivalry had become. However, the case against Ambani and his associates never gained legal traction. A lack of concrete evidence linking Ambani directly to the plot played a crucial role in the case being dismissed. Many speculated that Ambani's influence and political connections helped ensure the case didn't proceed further. These connections, combined with the absence of clear proof, allowed Ambani to avoid legal consequences. But the rivalry didn't stop there. Wadia claimed that Ambani had ruined his DMT project, a key initiative for Bombay dyeing, by manipulating government policies and ensuring delays in approvals. These delays resulted in significant financial losses for Bombay dyeing, forcing the company to shut down one of its plants, which only fueled the animosity between the two business leaders. However, the scars of this intense rivalry remained for years. While Ambani's rivalry with Wadia was intense, his conflict with Larsen and Toubro was on a whole different scale. In the 1980s, Ambani's Reliance became a giant in India's business world, and L&T, a major player in the construction and engineering sectors, was an important competitor. However, Ambani had set his sights on something even bigger. The clash began when Manu Chabria, an industrialist, tried to acquire a controlling stake in L&T, triggering a battle for control of the company. Ambani, ever the strategist, began purchasing shares in L&T, signaling his intention to take over the company. This was a direct challenge to Chabria's ambitions and a serious threat to L&T independence. Ambani's political connections were once again put to use in this battle. He managed to win the support of L&T's chairman, N.M. Desai, who joined forces with Ambani to fend off Chabria's takeover. Ambani's ability to leverage political connections gave him an edge in the battle, but it also attracted the attention of government authorities. The political situation shifted, and the government began scrutinizing Ambani's moves more closely. Eventually, Ambani's efforts to acquire L&T failed, and his control over the company was lost. This failure didn't mark the end of Ambani's ambitions. In fact, it prompted him to diversify Reliance's operations into new sectors. He expanded Reliance into telecommunications and petrochemicals, laying the groundwork for the company's future dominance in these industries. Ambani's resilience and ability to adapt to setbacks became one of the defining features of his business career. Another key rivalry in Ambani's career was with Shashi Ruia, the chairman of Essar Group. The 1990s saw a rise in competition between Reliance and Essar, particularly in the oil refining sector in Gujarat. Both companies were vying for dominance in the refining industry, and this competition led to several controversies and allegations. One of the major allegations in the rivalry between Reliance and Essar was corporate espionage, with both companies accused of engaging in unethical practices to outmaneuver the other. On Reliance's side, Dhirubhai Ambani was accused of leveraging his extensive political connections to manipulate regulatory approvals in Reliance's favor, especially concerning licenses for setting up refineries and accessing natural resources. Ambani's critics claimed he used his influence to expedite approvals for Reliance while creating bureaucratic hurdles for competitors like Essar. There were also allegations that Reliance obtained confidential information about Essar's upcoming projects, including financial and technical details, through unauthorized means. This information was allegedly used to undercut Essar's bids or to plan Reliance's strategies to block Essar's market entry. For instance, Essar accused Reliance of influencing policymakers to delay key approvals for its refinery projects in Gujarat, leading to cost overruns and project delays for Essar. While Reliance denied these claims, the pattern of Ambani's political influence, combined with strategic business moves, created an environment where such allegations seemed plausible. These practices, though difficult to prove in court, fueled the perception that Ambani would stop at nothing to maintain Reliance's dominance, even if it meant employing unconventional or controversial tactics. This layer of corporate warfare showcased the high-stakes competition that defined India's business landscape during that era. Reliance, under Ambani's leadership, aggressively expanded its operations, overshadowing Essar's efforts to establish itself as a key player in the refining business. Ambani's aggressive strategies were seen as a direct challenge to Essar's ambitions, and this only intensified the rivalry. The political dynamics of the time also played a major role in the competition. Shifting political landscapes affected business operations and regulatory environments for both companies. Ambani's political connections were key in helping Reliance outmaneuver Essar in certain situations. However, the rivalry continued to escalate, with both companies competing fiercely for market share and influence. So, was Dhirubhai Ambani truly dangerous? What does it mean to be a dangerous businessman in the context of Ambani's tactics? Ambani's business methods were unconventional, to say the least. He wasn't afraid to push boundaries, take risks, and use all available resources, whether it was political influence, media campaigns, or corporate espionage, to further his business interests. These tactics earned him a reputation as a tough competitor, and in many circles, a dangerous one. But there's also another side to the story. Ambani was a visionary. His strategies weren't just about winning at any cost. They were about transforming industries and pushing India into a new era of business. He created a business empire that provided thousands of jobs, contributed to India's industrial growth, and set a precedent for entrepreneurship in the country. Some critics argue that his success was built on manipulation, while others believe he was a trailblazer who simply understood how to navigate the complex political and business landscape of India. What do you think? Was Dhirubhai Ambani the most dangerous businessman in India, or was he simply a master of his craft? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell icon for more in-depth business case studies and analyses. Thanks for watching.